Hey everybody, this is my 125 gallon native tank, and I'm trying to do some feeding video of some crayfish. We got one that's already made his way out. I just threw some shrimp pellets and some algae wafers in the tank. Hopefully that's going to get some of the crayfish out and about. I've had a busy day. It's almost 9 o'clock. I'm just now getting in here to start working on getting everybody fed. I haven't fed myself. I got other stuff to do around the house, so we're not going to have time to do any video today other than a simple feeding video like this, but I'm hoping we'll get to see some crayfish, or you'll get to see some crayfish while I'm busy doing this. Beginning to get a little concerned about Butterbean. Not really sure what's going on with him. He has his days where he's fussy, but it seems like the last several days I've not seen him come out from hiding. He just stays in his little cave all day, and he's back there swimming around. I mean, I can see him. His belly's white. He doesn't look stressed out or anything. He's just not coming out, and he doesn't come out when I feed. I've been throwing snails in the tank, and he's not coming out to get the snails, and that's really unusual. He almost always comes out for his food. So I will certainly be keeping my eye on him. Maybe we'll do a tank cam video on the brackish tank here pretty soon. And that way I can just set the camera up and walk away and leave him to it and see what, see what happens. Although I can't imagine the camera being in the tank would be any less bothersome to him. I'm going to throw some flake food in here now. See if that doesn't get a second wave of frenzy going on. Once I figure out there's more food in the tank. Alright, so that is everybody, including my quarantine tank in the other room, with their flake food. Now I got to make my way around with the algae wafers for all my tanks. This tank that we're looking at's already been loaded up, so I don't need to worry about that one. If you're wondering, I put shrimp pellets, algae wafers, and then you just saw some flake food went in there. Forgot I put the new filter on my gudgeon tank over here. Still got to get in here and finish up on the water change and everything. I did the filter, and that's all I ever managed to get around to doing. And as I said, I've been busy all day today. I suppose I could have torn myself away from it, but when I get working on a project, I usually get wrapped up in it, and I don't really stop until I either hit a good stopping point or I just get frustrated and burn out on it or whatever. And today I was working on a little homemade trolling motor for my kayak so I could motor around a little bit when I'm back in these coves fishing. Don't necessarily want it as a means of propulsion, to get around the reservoir, but once I'm to a spot where I'm fishing, I like to be able to focus on the fishing and not focus on constantly making little adjustments to wherever the wind's pushing me and so on and so forth. So having a really small trolling motor mounted to the kayak would be really nice. And so I've been tinkering with making something today, homemade. I got something put together, but I went out and tested it. My preliminary tests, I'll say they gave me a result. I sort of know what direction to move in now, but it didn't really turn out the way I was hoping it would. So we'll see. But that's what I've been busy doing most of the day today. And like I say, now it's pushing 9 o'clock at night. It's dark out. And I got to get on with doing some other stuff here in the day. And that is algae wafers for everybody. Now I need to get Butterbean some snails, see if he comes out and gets any tonight. Got a couple of big fat ones I'm going to drop right in front of him. Yeah, he's still just laying low in his cave. And while we wait to see whether he comes out and gets them or not, I've got to feed my Tenopoma his freeze-dried krill. And generally when I'm feeding this tank and I'm feeding my Tenopoma his freeze-dried krill, I usually break some of the krill up so that the other fish in the tank, namely the rainbow fish and the clown loaches and the Congo tetras, all the orange colored fish in this tank, the krill is good for their orange coloration, helps enhance the orange coloring. Alright, so that is everybody fed. Unfortunately, it looks like Butterbean is still hiding in his cave. He's not going to come out and eat. So I'm going to have to check out and see what's going on with that. It looks like he's looking at it. I wonder if the lights have something to do with it. I've got those weird, cheap little DIY LEDs on there, and one of them's not working right again, and it's putting this really weird yellow light into the tank, and so maybe he just doesn't like the lighting on it or something. Maybe that's kind of freaked out. I don't know. Give me half a second here. I'm going to grab you off the tripod. We'll get a little close-up look at a couple of these crayfish while they're out, and then we'll call it a video, and I'll get on with my evening. That's the only one I see out at the moment. And I have no idea whether you guys got to see any out and about while I was walking around. I kept kind of glancing over my shoulder. I saw one crawling around from time to time, but I don't really know how well it came out on camera. Again, I was busy feeding everybody. The one that I was kind of hoping was coming out on camera was down here. Got this little guy. But there's another one. There it is. I kept seeing that one back there. I know he's not coming out real well on camera either. There's a good one back there. He's got some big claws on him. And he kept crawling around. And I don't know if he was making it into frame or not. He was on the edge of it. So we've got these two down here. We've got the one we already saw. I just saw some claws underneath of there. We've got this one here that we were just looking at a moment ago. That apparently lives down here in this little cave. And I'm pretty sure there's another one down here somewhere. That looks too cave-like, and then down here is very clearly dug out and opened up too. So I'm sure there's probably another crayfish down at this end of the tank somewhere. It can't be just this one right here that's digging out all these caves and everything by itself. So I'm going to say we've got 5 crayfish in the tank right now. There's at least 4, because I've seen 4 of them all at once. So the water's still really high in the stream. All of the heavy rains have stopped, but the water is literally still just draining out of the hills, and you know, water's just running down the gutter and the side of the road, and the streams are still high and muddy. The water out the reservoir is incredibly high. I can't believe how high the water at the reservoir is. It's all muddy and nasty out there. So it'll be a little while, but we'll get some more crayfish in this tank. I'll get it to where it's sort of active and busy again. We'll do that at least once or twice before the summer's over. We've got months ahead of us. The crayfish will be out running until the weather starts getting cold in, you know, October, November, or whatever, before we have to worry about the crayfish going to ground. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Look forward to some kayaking videos coming up real soon, because I will be doing some stuff about that. I'm going to talk about that little motor I was working on, etc. So look forward to some outdoors videos. And then, of course, make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything I've got coming up on this tank or any of the other ones. Don't forget, this one is my 125-gallon Nave tank. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you real soon in the next one.